And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Strange Brew on this Saturday morning here in late May. I'm Chris Wood and Rob Thompson, as we have the opportunity today, thanks to Strange Brew and More Lawn Care, to make it possible to be here today. And excited today to have, as we're going live here, our guest of the week, one Jeff Paxson, who's taking care of some of his cleaning needs so he can see us, I guess, as we start this broadcast. Rob, welcome, my friend, and Jeff, welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, what's up?
I had to clean my glasses. My dad warned me I would go blind one of those days. Like he swore up and down that I should have believed him.
It happens, doesn't it? It happens. Well, Woodsy, we're here today with Pax, and if you don't know Jeff, then you've probably heard of him. Been in the CG area for a long time, and obviously we grew up together. So a lot of stories I'm sure will be told today. But we're happy to have Pax on here, and this dude is he's probably done things maybe not the way that we were probably brought up growing up, right? Go to college, do the thing, right? Like Pax has always kind of done it his way, so should be a fun little episode we have here.
Well, I'm excited for the opportunity to have you on here, Jeff, as well, because I look at your family, your brother, your siblings, your nieces and nephews. I mean,
yeah,
your mom. I mean, it's
terrific.
To me, it's one of the names of the community. So
we have you on here. I feel like sometimes I'm Henry VIII out of the group, but man, I'll tell you what, my mom and this community have been just an absolute blessing to me. I was just teasing the guys before we went on air that I live here because of interest rates. The rates were lower in 1984. My mom got a job teaching down here, and we moved out to the middle of nowhere from Stop 11 Road, and I thought, oh, my gosh, where are they taking us? But I didn't love third grade that year, but I'll tell you what, after that, I've had friends for life, and Rob's one of them, Chris Wood. I remember him chasing us around what's now the old middle school at basketball camp, because we would say, Woods, he wanted to punch us. Still, nothing changes, right, Woody?
Nothing changes.
But thanks for saying that about my mom and the family and the community. My brother and my sister are younger than I am. My sister's 3 years younger. My brother's 9 years younger. My children love to point out that they're both on that athletic wall of fame, and I'm not. But I was more of a social legend, I guess. I was paving. I didn't play for Coach Moore. It was Coach King. We were really on the cusp of something good, I think. I happened to be on team junior and senior year of high school that we went undefeated in the regular season. We played a different conference.
Yeah.
But it was competitive. In the time that Rob and I were in high school, I played on the field against 3 Mr. Footballs that were in our conference. Martinsville had 2 in a row.
Hannaford.
Bloomington
Israel
South
Thompson.
Yeah, Izzy and Earl, and then Bo Barzalauskas was when I was a sophomore.
Oh, yeah.
Bo Barzalauskas.
Bloomington South, right?
And technically, I think 4. The good thing about when we grew up, guys, is the internet wasn't as savvy. Okay, so I can just make this stuff up, and that's the pressure our kids are under, that they've got all this social media outlets to everybody. We were well versed and studied, but heck, I remember we'd go to baseball games. We don't know the name of the pitcher that we're facing. These guys now know what they throw when they're up in the count.
Yeah.
And, they've had so many batting lessons, and my son has gone into that part of his career where he's concentrating, and I'm like, oh man, I don't like concentration. I like chaos, So I like the kids to be active in things, because I think it gets them around good kids. It gets them around good role models like Mr. Wood and people like Mr. Higginson and Mr. McMahon and Mr. Thompson, Mr. Painter. All these guys grab these kids at a tough age, 12, 13, 14. A lot of them, if they're like Rob and I, they're going to be like 14, 15, 16 the rest of their life.
Yes.
But I think that's the idea behind
I have discovered that I'm the adult of this combination.
Well, yeah, I have
here.
another little joke too. I'll tell you.
Kid friendly.
Yes, sir.
Well, go ahead.
All right, so I want to tell you about. So
go ahead. You're running this podcast.
The community
This
rally.
is going to be a different format.
20 years ago, the community rallied around my family like I've never seen before. My dad passed away the night before my little brother's first day of his senior year.
Yeah.
And God love Rob. He's had problems with his heart. Chris is as big as I am, you know. It's not very often that I'm in a group of 3 guys and I'm the least likely to have the heart attack. And then, hey, where'd you have that sign like they keep at factories would? That say like number of days since the last accident. Rob's got one for heart attacks like 97. 97? 98? In a row. I'm talking every day. In a row, no heart attacks for Rob.
Yeah.
That's it for the jokes on that. But let me tell you about this town rallying around my dad and my family. It was a Monday night, August the 16th, 2004. My 18-year-old brother is getting ready to go on the adventure of his life with all of these horizons ahead of him. He was Jeff Paxson, and I'm going to take time to tell you guys about him just because he wouldn't. And I'm not his dad. I'm his brother, so I feel like I can say whatever. And coming up here in a month, he and I are going to host trivia as a fundraiser for the Center Grove football senior class at Bay Horse Inn. And at that time, we're running it as a broast where he and I are feverishly writing jokes about our upbringing and teasing each other. And so in a month, I'm going to be nice today, but in a month, I'm going to be spilling all of his dirty laundry. My brother, Coach Moore was new at Center Grove when my brother came in. It was maybe his 3rd year. JB was coming in as a freshman. On the team at that time were the McClurgs, of course, Jeremy Van Alstyne was linebacker. And my brother had never seen any adversity. I mean, he was like he won the championship in Bantam in the 5th and 6th grade league as a 4th grade lineman. And the second pick on the team was a lineman, too. He's just unbelievable. It's almost like Paul Bunyan, Babe Ruth type stories that I just feel like I want to tell because all the time, I'm a super proud brother, but all the time people come up to me and they'll say, man, I saw your brother pitch against Tommy Hunter in the regional that day. And I was like, yeah, 6,000 people there, you know. And I've had somebody come say, man, I remember that time that Tim LeMasters hit one off the scoreboard and the next inning your brother hit it over the scoreboard. And I'm like, yeah. And then I was talking to Chet Casper last night about me and my dad and Chet up against the fence at Ben Davis, and it was a 3-0 count, and his take was on me. Hit it like 2/3 of the way up in the trees in center field. You know, it was Herculean. I've got some notes in front of you about stuff that was really cool. Like JMV and Mark Patrick one time just kind of riffing or whatever, talked about a home run that he hit with a wooden bat in the middle of a week at Butler University in the summer. It was before the Bulls had all this territory. They used to have to go play wherever, but yeah. It was just really, really wild. He's just he was on an AAU team with Donald Washington, who played football at Ohio State. Dre Mason played football at Purdue. Jeremy Mack played football at Toledo. Josh McRoberts played basketball at Duke. That was his middle school AAU team, and he played over McRoberts. But anyways, he came out for his freshman year of football, and he's torn. He's got big time travel, and back then I felt like maybe travel was still kind of an elite. There wasn't, Rob and I weren't starting a team every 2 weeks.
And, it's not like it is now.
Well, let's get it was kind of a big deal that he had that, but back then, like I said, they didn't have Grand Park, so they were always on the road, and he was juggling that schedule of Coach Moore, and this is Coach Moore in the 5 a.m. January 3rd, Coach Moore, and Coach Moore was our age, and so Coach Moore tells the story about my brother being torn and he's going to quit. He said my mom shows up at his house, Coach Moore's house, sad and scared, and she says, hey, can you tell me if I'd like to have him play football, but he's telling he's going to quit? And Coach Moore was like, I don't care if he quits, and I was like, yeah, I like that. It's like 1990s coaching, right, Wood, where you're like, I don't care. And Coach Moore said my mom threw up in his landscape. Like, she was so nervous to talk to him, but they are thick as thieves. They've been friends. They were friends before that at school. My mom friended him right when he came into town. So he got on the field even as a freshman. Believe it or not, he started a game at linebacker against two-time state champion and Mr. Football James Banks. Either Adam McClurg or Jeremy Van Alstyne was out. And it was like they used to play Ben Davis 3rd or 4th week of the season. And I was like, holy moly, He didn't lead the team in tackles, I do remember that. And then when he was a freshman, and Coach Gandalf pulled him up to catch about halfway through the season. as a freshman. And Coach Gandalf didn't do that. I like how Keith rewards guys that are exceptional and deserve best guys on there. And Coach Gandalf did the same. It was just a talented program, and he kept the years together. But it was really rare that he would bring a freshman up, and he did. And then JB hits a home run in the first game that he's up there, batting 8th. And it was on a day at Franklin's Field that the wind was blowing in. They write a story about him in the Journal, and then the rest was history, because he would do these folksy quotes. I mean, there's no reason to come up after a football game and interview the defensive end or the defensive tackle, and they would. Like, I mean, this kid had 2 touchdowns. This kid would JB, what'd you say? And he was used to be on the play-in on WIBC, like, because he would speak things. He would, I don't know, I like to hit home run. You know, like, I mean, he's just a big, dumb animal. Like, but people liked him. Like I said, Mark Patrick, JMV, like, JMV had a whole show about him when he was torn between staying with Purdue or not.
Yeah.
I told these guys ahead of time, I don't know. Nice thing about this, too, is there's not a lot of internet, so I can make some of this stuff up or, fact check. But I think that JB was the County Player of the Year in baseball 3 years in a row. His sophomore year maybe was the best year of his varsity career. He had 14 or 15 home runs. He was the County Football Player of the Year at least twice. And, again, that's just from playing defensive end. And I think he graduated with the league or the school record in sacks, tackles for loss, home runs. So my joke with Coach Gandalf, I spoke at Coach Gandalf's retirement party, and I said, I'm so proud that JB Paxson and Jeff Paxson have the most home runs in the program for brothers. And and I think JB's got 25 or 30, and I have 0. So it's, you know what? But I always said, JB, you got the home run record, buddy, but that no smoking sign down in the bullpen, that's because of me, buddy. I was the bullpen catcher.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And then he got recruited for both sports. He actually was an All-American and played in the All-American, U.S. Army All-American game. Labor Day weekend, they have the U.S. Nationals here. My dad died 2 weeks before. JB, me, Coach Moore, my mom, we're standing on the track on the Labor Day weekend at the U.S. Nationals. And they had U.S. Army had a car in, like, the drag race and motorcycle, too. But JB got announced for the U.S. Army All-American game on national TV with a 3-star general on the track. Hey, let's just introduce da-da-da-da-da. And it was a really neat experience. And I'll tell you this, what Coach Moore and Coach Wood, Coach Thompson, Marty Mills, Coach Hatfield, Coach Hahn, all these guys that and all their helpers and all the volunteers of this place have created a community where that stuff 20 years ago wasn't that common. Like, it wasn't like half the all-state team was from Syracuse. It was just really pretty unheard of. I think when the 3 of us were in school, when we graduated, there'd only been one all-state player for the Trojans, and now it's even my brother and sister on the wall now.
It's common,
so that's cool. But so the community's been great. My brother's done a lot of cool things, and I'm enough older than him that I got to be like proxy, and so I've just been through. Went on recruiting trips. We met Michael Orr in Tennessee before they were in college. So before he was on the blind side, I met Jonathan Stewart, who played for the Panthers. I met Buster Posey. JB played in the Cape Cod Baseball League in college. He was going to go play at football at Purdue, and he got recruited by Ron Zook at Florida, Charlie Weiss, Notre Dame, Coach Tiller, Fulmer, Phil Fulmer at Tennessee. It's really cool. And so my dad has passed away, so me and Evan Fry would go on the recruiting trips with JB, and they'd give us name tags too. We were like 25, so they'd be like, "Hey, you signed here." We're like, "We're thinking about it. We're thinking about it." So it was really just a wonderful experience, but I learned from being witness how much time and effort it takes to succeed at a super high level. And I'll tell you, there's part of me that says, because I think we all do, like, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? But there's part of me that was like, dude, I feel like JB a lot of times wasn't even trying. Like he just was almost that natural. So he quit basketball as a freshman, stayed with the 2. Senior year, I don't think it was because they changed coaches, but Coach Zick had moved away, and Coach Hawkins came in. So as a senior, JB went out for the basketball team, having not played in 3 years. Started the first game at 270 pounds, point guard.
I remember.
And about midway through the season, of course he had to go play in that All-American game in the season, but midway through the season he asked to guard Josh McRoberts at Carmel, who's their number 3 in the state. And I bet the basketball team was 5-11 at this point.
And McRoberts, had he committed yet at that point?
Yeah, I think so. It was second semester, so maybe. But he went to Duke. He was McDonald's All-American. He was actually maybe National Gatorade Player of the Year that year. Odin was the next. So, anyways, Coach Hawkins puts big fat JB on him. Okay, and JB just puts his hands in front of his eyes the whole time. I'm be like, not touching you, can't get mad, which I feel like I taught him that.
Yeah.
And with the help of my buddies, and so. Held McRoberts to no points in the paint, 7 points, and they upset Carmel, number 3, and probably finished 6-11 on the year. But the next week they played Lawrence North, who had Conley and Greg Oden. They're a year younger than JB, and it worked last week. They put him on Oden, and JB had 2 fouls in 18 seconds, and he sat out the rest of the half. And but it was kind of cool, like sitting Jack Kiefer's right there, and when they got the second foul on him. I don't know who it was. I'll say Conley from my memory, but Conley ran up to Coach Kiefer and was like, "That's 2 on him, Coach. That's 2." Like, so it was kind of cool to be thought of as a game plan, or something that they have to circle and watch out. So
I remember the McRoberts game because it was like, I mean, he just out physicaled him.
It was big truck legs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Pax, tell us a little bit about, like, obviously you've been here your whole life.
Yeah.
Started a business, right? Been very successful. But, like, your mom, I see your mom at every event.
She loves Center Grove.
Every event, right?
Loves it, yeah, every event. My aunt's moved here and does the same.
Yep. And, we're going to go over to the baseball game. We're going to broadcast here in a little bit, and I'm probably going to – your mom would be there.
She's
right?
in Iceland, but otherwise,
okay.
So she was relying on CG Network.
Maybe she'll be feeding in listening to us.
We'll have to give her our link now.
When she goes down to Hilton Head with her girlfriends, they're like all huddled around whatever the game is that evening. Like Friday night watching Mr. Conrad
But I will say about your mom, like your mom, growing up as a kid, like we're a lot alike. You
absolutely
made some questionable decisions, as I was growing up, and Mrs. Pax I'd always like see that glare, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, and and as we've gotten older, like your mom is kind of like the lifeblood of what Center Grove's about.
That's really cool.
Right?
I'll tell you what, you don't know how many appointments I go on. First of all, oftentimes I'll get through the whole appointment. They'll like, "Did you used to go by JB?" Or they'll be like, "Are you JB's dad?"
Yeah.
I got the punchline for that in a month, but you don't know how many times they're like, "Hey, I know your mom." I'm like, "Oh, how do you know her?" They're like, "I don't know. We just know who she is, and we see her." And we were raised. It was back when I was a kid. The teachers and the teachers' kids got to go to the ball games for free.
Yeah.
That was 3 or 4 athletic directors ago, but they were. So we'd go watch Dick Harmony. Now we got to at second grade. I got to watch Dan Thompson shut down Eric Montross on Todd Leary on number 1 Lawrence North upset at the old gym, the gym as we call it back then, and I loved it. My mom loves it. My mom loves the sports. She loves the activities. She doesn't care if they're wearing red and white. They're with her. It reminds me of. And I apologize, I don't know her first name, but John Summers' mother, Mrs. Summers, who is just, I went to watch my 6th grader track the other night, and Mrs. Summers comes up to me with 3 cookies, and I said, "All right, now bring the other 3 in about half an hour." Yeah, it's wonderful. My mom's led our family into that. I told you guys the story. I don't know if I already said it about, we buried my dad a day sooner so that we could have JB play in the game on Friday night, and that was Karen Paxson's idea. She's a God love her. She's best friends with my sister, but she's a boy mom. I think what she's also done great is she has made my sister, brother, and I all think secretly that we are the favorite. And obviously I am.
Well, you know what? One thing saying that though, obviously she's your mom, but she does that to other people too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That right? that they're
such a kind-hearted,
Thank you.
friendly, outgoing.
We're not sure what happened to you, but
Well, I was adopted. The Paxson genes are like none of us look alike, and
well, you look like your dad.
Thank you. So I said this, like my dad, he played Big Ten linebacker. Okay, now he didn't play a lot, but this might surprise Rob, but my dad was 6 foot. Does that surprise you that he was only 6 foot? Did he seem bigger?
Yes.
So he had broad shoulders, kind of a narrow waist, natural athletic build, similar to me. Not like JB's fat ass, but he's super athletic, and he just had this natural way of. But he was intimidating. He had dark eyes, big, gorgeous mustache, right? And he was quiet. He was quiet, and that was perfect. He was not mean. But he was a presence, and he was afraid of my mom. That's the house I grew up in.
Yeah.
I could tell you I could be like, oh, that dish soap tastes peppermint. I'm from, this. Now, JB wasn't raised in that house. He was allowed to do whatever. He was 9 years younger.
Well, being the first kid, you got the brunt of it.
But, where JB did suffer was in one summer, I think, we broke his foot, broke his wrist. He was like Kyler and almost cut his penis off. In one summer, and that might have been when he was 3.
Yeah.
That is no joke.
Yeah.
The penis was intact. He's got 4 children, and he's happily married. But that was a tough day for the babysitter, who was 11 at the time. And then back then they didn't tell you where they were going. Yeah. I couldn't call them on the cell phone.
Yeah. There's no Life 360.
Oh, yeah. So I kept being like, "You're faking it. You're faking it. Just quit." So.
Well, I think one thing that community and just being involved, right? I think your dad a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Like your dad growing up he coached, right?
Absolutely.
He even
helped build the concession stand at Honey Creek.
Well, even stories of our buddies growing up, and your dad never coached me, but just hearing some of the stories, and I think. That's special, right?
Yeah.
Well, and but how much impact did he have?
Big time. So one time when I was a kid, 2 things, Rob. Number one, my dad always wanted to have you on his team because you're a terrific athlete in basketball and all sports, but
where's this going?
Also because you were a jerk, and so my dad thought you were so awesome today. So you're on Kevin Noon's rec league team, and he loved. But Rob was living at large in 5th and 6th grade, and so he was like how 12 and 13-year-old kids are. And Wood signs up to go to that every day,
Yeah, he does.
I know. And so,
what are you doing,
so
Wood?
It's that's right. That's right.
I will tell you,
he loved us. When we were at his basketball camp as teenagers, he just fell in love with us. He just fell in love with us. Yeah.
It's for the money.
So my dad always thought that about you, but he was really stoic. Yeah. But I think he always thought, hey, I could get Rob to be that competitive and be, the way I am. And one time at a Center Grove basketball game, old gym, blah, 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 crowd boo, And I remember at a referee's call, and I remember looking at my dad. I'm 3rd grade. Looking at my dad, blah, blah, blah. On the way home, I go, Dad, how come you weren't yelling when the crowd was when the ref blew that call? And he goes, well, you know what? Sometimes I think when that happens, I just think, well, if I was rooting for the other team, I'd be happy. And I thought that's a real good outlook, I mean, that's like, what are you going to do? What's yelling? Have you ever seen a ref change it?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
No. I mean, have you ever? What does it do? To buy you a next call? I mean, my dad was genuine. He wasn't rizzy or charming. I mean, he was charming but quiet.
Yeah.
And he was. What always aggravated about me is he didn't have to be charming. He was so good looking. Like I have to be funny. Like I have to get a girl to like me because I'm funny. But my dad he was just tall, dark, and handsome.
Well,
I'm
who
real
says
proud
you're
of
funny?
Me and my date today, which is 0. It's funny.
What do you think?
I can show you a lot of people that think I'm not funny too.
I think I want to thank Strange Brew and More Lawn Care for hosting us today here.
That's awesome.
Strange Brew.
Yeah.
Hey, if we say ad people like. If I'm like Coke, Pepsi, do they have to send you guys money? Are you guys influencers?
Yeah. We have like 4 listeners, dude.
How are you not sponsored by Trojan condoms? How are you guys not sponsored by Trojan condoms? It's a brand. Now, Mr. Wood, do they not promote? Do they?
Dude, Wood's going to have a coronary.
What? I told you. I said I'm third. Like, so I guarantee Rob has one soon too.
I think it's safe to say that you have prepared for this more than I have.
Well, then bless you.
And he's been coaching me up here for the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, dude, hold on.
He goes.
Get ready to hold on.
Well, and you guys thought I would come in and not do it in one take. You're like, it's 8:32, Paxson. And I'm like, hold on. Let me put the cigarette out here.
Yeah.
I don't smoke.
We have never had to edit an episode yet.
That's right, but it was test the waters. No, I want to say to everybody out here that's listening, I think there's 3 or 4 of you. I want to say
it's 10 now.
If I offend you, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry when I offend you. I'm sorry when I offend you.
Yeah.
I don't mean it. That was not my intent.
Well, and I think that's one thing, like growing up and maybe just the paths that we've taken, like, at a point, like, you don't want to offend anybody,
right,
but you got to have some joy in life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And the ups and downs. And
well, we were at a time, guys, when we were in our teenage years at Center Grove, I mean, it was just kind of like I said, I don't know how I would find that Rob was at the gym or at the park and I didn't know how, Wood was, playing wiffle ball, so we just walked there, rode there.
I was talking about that actually yesterday with my son about all these neighborhoods that are through here. I mean, I grew up in Winsong.
Perfect, yeah.
And I would take my bike and I'd ride through Pebble Hills, and I would go, and I remember Silver Springs being built because I was in high school at that time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's actually where I wanted to go with you on this, is just obviously in your profession of realty, you have a unique perspective.
I've been blessed that way.
Yeah, I mean, that you see so many of these areas of this community, one, that are brand new, but also those neighborhoods that were 20, 30, 40 years ago and how they have evolved.
Sure.
And the reliability of knowing, I would say confidently, how that neighborhood is going to stay, because obviously that impacts your resale value. So I know I'm turning it down here to more of a serious focus, but I just think you have a unique perspective of this community as a whole, not just professional.
Dave Wilkerson, great. Oh, by the way, guys, listeners, if you're listening to this, you guys would be the type of people that would like this. But on Friday mornings at 9:30 at Flapjacks in Bargersville, a bunch of the old faculty, men, teachers, and coaches congregate and have breakfast at 9:30, and go say hi to them, guys. I mean, they're way smarter than they were when we were in high school.
Well, the Rick Millers, the Dan Steers, the Ivan Smiths, they're all there.
That's terrific.
Steve Klopfelter tries to get there.
Yep. Coach Weatherford, Coach Round. That's a neat thing. I cheer you guys on to go say hi to them. They would love it. Even if they don't know who you are, just tell them. I always tell them I'm JB. And
but when we talk about, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but when we talk about those figures in the community that really mold so many, of the people, I feel like one of my missions for this show is build about what Gary Robinson would say. I mean, Gary Robinson said there's more than Center Grove, but there's a lot of really cool things in Center Grove.
He would say it with a lisp, though. Like, I would always be like, hey, he'd be like, Gary, you got Pax, get over here. Get over here, Paxton.
Always.
It also would be a, hey, come here.
And I liked how Gary would always be like, he would say something like, now, Pax, hey, come here. Hey, just remember, Franklin, county seat. Franklin is the county seat. And you'd be like, okay. There was something profound.
It's very random. Yes.
But he's like, hey, come here. You know what?
But if you went to Flapjacks,
Whiteland could have been the county seat, but Franklin was just a little bit better. That's how Coach Gary. Dave Wilkerson was Nathan Wilkerson's dad, and he coached the girls basketball team in the 80s and early 90s, and that's how I met Coach Robinson. And but Dave grew up. He graduated in '67 from here. Dave told me that he used to ride his bike no hands down the middle of 135. If you want to talk about how it's changed, I'm driving no hands all the time on there, and it's like you're not watching.
You could still do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you would survive.
Yeah, this is. No, you're right. It's crazy, isn't it? But that's wild. I mean, you think about it. And then somebody told me that they used to ride their bike to Sweetwater from El Dorado 1. Wow. It's cool stuff that.
We used to ride our bikes over to the mall, because I grew up.
Rob, we didn't live over there.
We
didn't live over there.
I was on the north side. I was on the north side of the tracks. We would ride on 135, Fry Road, up 31, on bikes.
Yeah, again, Rob, a little different upbringing than me and Wood had. We were like chasing crawdads and stuff over here in the country. We weren't townies where we would. I mean, golly, Rob, it's like
Well,
no wonder. It was like when Rob was in 4th grade, 5th grade, riding to the mall. I'm like, how long did it take you? And he'd be like, 5 beers.
I stopped at bars.
Yeah,
Mad Dog 2020.
I drank. I tried to get that 6th one down before I got there.
It was Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah, Rob was Rob did immature adult life first, and then has now turned into a terrific person in our community. Honestly, great dad. He's got great kids as well, and it's just really awesome to see. And people like my mom love seeing that, actually.
Yeah.
Now, everyone always remembers your bad day too, though. You know,
dude,
they're always like, I remember. Yeah. Even if you're out, I'll be dressed up real nice. And I talked to Big Greg Allen this week, and the first time I met him, I threw a rock. I was in 2nd grade. It hit my sister in the head, and her head exploded. We were at that lot in Hunters Point. Dirt all over. You know, no water. It's just an empty neighborhood. And he goes, "You still throwing rocks?" He said that to me this week.
Yeah.
30. I was 8. So that was almost 40 years ago, and he said it to me when he talked to me on the phone. I was, "Hi, Mr. Allen. How are you?" He still looks the same. That's nice. That is good. That's good. And remember, this was Hamptons, right? But it was across the street. I remember that was our year 96. Our senior year was when that tornado hit. And
96, 97.
Yeah, I think
April
so.
97.
Yeah. Yep. And it's just been a terrific spot to raise a family. And I don't know. I'm a townie. I know it's big. I encourage. That's why I like the programs like the arts and the choir and theater and band and the sports and all and the robotics and just lots of ways. I mean, you drive by the high school now, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know we were the worldwide frisbee champs. What's it called? What's it called? The frisbee sport? The
ultimate frisbee.
Yeah, I was bragging about that the other day. And I put that called my fraternity brothers, and I was like, yeah, we're ultimate frizz state champs again. You know, that's right. The bragging rights, buddy. And
Spittler hit me up last night. And he brought up, unified back in the day, right? I mean, but he talked about but that's just an extension though. Like now,
Mr. Stenzinger, great guy, terrific guy.
In that time, I needed that. I needed that, right?
Big time.
I needed that.
And you know what? Everybody did.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
But now, Center Grove is.
You're with guys like Kevin Clutter, Spittler. Goes on to be a principal.
Yeah. But then you have
Catman. I mean, I'm serious. There's great people you met out of this.
Hey, actually, this I'm taking this totally on sidetrack. There has been some movement that
I don't ever want to hear Rob say movement.
It's small, but that there's been some requests to get Catman on this thing.
Oh, I've had multiple requests from people who know him through the coaching ranks.
That's good. Talk about what. I like a guy that doesn't change.
Well,
hey, buddy, I like.
We'll bring him on the next time you're on here.
Yeah, it's fun. He when I got into real estate, I didn't have anything but a business card, including money. I had no money, so I would just give him a business card out all the time. Cat would call me like, "Hey, Pax, what are you?" And I'm like, I really actually got to know him in the early 2000s. I've been glad that he's been back in a part of our community. And I love Center Grove people, man, and I sound like a homer. When I'm on appointment over in Whiteland or Greenwood, I just kind of bite my lip, No, I mean, I love the whole county. I love everything about it, and it's just something everybody should be proud of. And go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as we go into this last 10 minutes, I mean, I think you bring up all these people, and I agree 100% with you, but I think it's important to reiterate again what the Paxson name means in this community, and you're part of that.
I'm flattered.
So I mean,
if it's good, I know it's. We talk about my dad and my mom. My mom, who is tremendously kind, outgoing, and not everybody gets rubbed the same way. So my personality, teasing you guys, that there's somebody out there that thinks it's not fantastic. I mean, there's some realtors at the table behind us that have not smiled or blinked the whole time that I'm sitting here. It's just we're all competitors, and some do it in a different way. But my mom, she could be, she's loud sometimes. She might turn somebody apart. But my dad, he was so down the middle. So 2,000 people showed up at his wake or the show.
And I was going to talk about that actually real quick. So if
dude,
you don't mind, we can go into that. I mean,
and so my dad was non-controversial, and that was like cool.
I would hear,
and I'm controversial.
Very.
So I hope I don't tarnish that name. But go ahead.
Thinking back to Gary Robinson's wake and the visitation and thinking about.
Absolutely.
And in all candidness, I knew who your dad was.
Yeah,
I knew your mom from teaching.
Yes.
And I don't think I ever had your mom, but she was around. And again, she was someone I went to.
Did he say had my mom? Rob? That was jokes when we were kids. Go ahead.
And Rob's enjoying this.
I love it. Dude, I love when you start squirming.
This is going to be 10 p.m. This can only air 10 p.m.
Squirming.
I know who is not going to be a third person on our broadcast.
He knows. He knows. I'm going to be muted next time.
Like you're going to talk the whole time.
Jeff just nodded.
Jeff's mouth looks like it's moving.
I worried about moving to the right so I could be on the screen. I may have to move to the left to get off the screen. But
is there a screen?
Camera. Anyway, screen there, and then people will see us. Yeah. Anyway, just the amount of people who outpoured for Gary.
Gary, what a neat. Yeah, here's a guy, 50-plus years of the community. Hey, 50-plus years of the community, right? And that talk about guys that haven't changed. You know what I mean? Like the Gary Robinson that was at the middle school when Chris Wood, Jeff Paxson, and Rob Thompson were there is the same as when my son, who's 16 now, is there. You know what I mean? It's just guy. It's kind of. I feel like we used to know all the teachers, even if we didn't have them. And not have them, Chris. Gosh, they have a. But I feel like Coach Robinson was like that. Like even kids that didn't have him knew him. And then that was a neat gift you had with Mr. Anderson. Yeah. Same thing. You know. Mrs. Toomey, another one. You know. Another one here, Chris. So we'll be fine with this one. Coach Gandalf, 850 wins.
Yep.
So he was my coach in high school. Okay, and our team was good. AJ Zepp was my class. I think AJ had the hots for my girlfriend on spring break senior year. And when we came back, the fence would be lined with scouts, okay? And the Pirates are here, and I'd be sitting in front of the fence. I'd be like, AJ, I thought you said you were going to play in the National League. They would have us run the 60 every practice. It was the neatest thing. Every practice, we would have 5 to 10 scouts. Every practice, every game. It was neat. Something like we were like traveling with the Beatles, and not me. I was out in the bullpen spitting sunflower seeds, but
by the
but Coach Gandalf was my coach, and just like I said, I can't believe how smart he got from the time I was 15 to the time I was 22 or 25. He's a great guy. I probably gave him a hard time, but he gave me a hard time. But he's got 850 wins. After leaving here, he goes coaches more at Cecina. I got to know him. He took me through his home that he grew up in over on 16th Street, and how near and dear the East Side and Cecina was, where he met his wife, and that's another sports family as we talk. But Coach Gandalf, he was riding his bike with my mom and dad the day that my dad died. So I always say Coach Gandalf and my mom killed my dad. But Coach Gandalf, the outpouring that he showed, he stayed with my brother and my mom like every evening after school, all during that initial time. Coach Moore the same way. I love that, and Coach Gandalf is a top-notch guy, and I hope they name the field after him. I mean, no offense to Walt Aldericio or Keith Hatfield. I think those are the only other two coaches of baseball. But I think Coach Gandalf, he'll finish his coaching at Cecina for the evening, and he'll stop by and watch the end of the game. He stayed and watched that Westfield game last year until the 11th inning. I always he's a great guy, and we all change and situations change, but I really like the impact that he's had on my family and my life. And
but every one of these people you brought up, as you've led our podcast today.
That's right.
And that's fine. It's
brought to you by Trojans. Brought to you by Trojans. See, let's go on. Yes.
What?
Trojan Beat is what's it called. What's the name of it?
Every one of these people, I don't know where
I can't believe that Ron Colley was the one that had to change their mascot name, not us. Like, I mean, where's this petition?
What?
Every one of these. I'm afraid to say
What's
anything.
losing control here? What's losing control?
Oh, I lost control 38 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's right, buddy. That's right. Hey.
But every one of these people, Jeff, and your family included, you talk about the Paxson name, you talk about, honestly, the Allen name, you talk about the Robinsons out there, the Wilkersons out there, the Gandalfs out there. You can go on and on and
Sure,
on.
Richards, McCarty.
Exactly. These are all the pillars that have made the Center Grove community
Really cool.
become what it is today. And we talk about family. We talk about, even though it's a big community, it still feels like a small community to a lot of people. And we need to learn to appreciate that. And I know I'm getting
Certainly.
serious here at this moment as we have these last 2 minutes here of the broadcast. But in all sincerity, I mean,
For all my joking around today, guys, what I want to tell you about this community and my mom, they just always were like, be nice. Say hi to everybody.
Yep.
You know, smile. You know, my daughter was going to Costa Rica for a mission trip in Christmas, and I said, you know what? International language, smile and wave, is a way to communicate. If you don't know somebody, and you'll be safe, you know, that's a good start. Whatever. So my mom was always like that. I won the student body president because I was nice. I wasn't nice, but I was nice out. No, I was. It didn't. I tried not to be in a clique. You know, I mean, and we say clique in a negative way from our age group, but truly the way to make this community be great, Chris, is like the small groups, like the lacrosse team, the ultimate frisbee team. Get your kids involved in something minute, or robotics in the school, and that makes it smaller in this big era. And I mean, I could name every coach that I had from kindergarten on.
Yeah. Yeah, but one of the best coaches.
And their nicknames. And their
one of the best
insulting
coaches
nicknames.
I had was Wayne Bovard.
That's awesome.
Right.
John Frank was mine. Honestly,
Wayne Bovard, third grade.
John Frank was a terrific
Bovard were
basketball
neighbors
coach.
of mine. Live right across the creek.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good, Robbie. He is a good guy.
Yeah.
Wayne's a good guy. And you know what? Things change too, guys. The things that the people that these kids are at 5th and 6th grade is not who they are necessarily at 11th and 12th grade. So keep your kids going out.
Yeah.
The thing I see that's hard for parents is to kids tease each other and then they are friends. The parents remember, parent, I still haven't forgiven that kid for teasing my kid, even though he's my kid's best friend. And so I think if you take the Karen Paxson approach, which is like, I'm for Center Grove, it makes things a lot easier. And I got that through my brother. Like, we don't brag about that. I am today, and I appreciate you guys giving me the time to do that. A lot of other cool stuff that I can tell you. And,
well, we will definitely have to have you on.
I'm sorry. We'll
we'll have to.
I might do a spin-off here. It's the Rob and Paxson Hour. Explicit. Yeah, you must. This is the explicit.
I might have a job as the IT production guy.
There you go.
Oh, goodness
There you go.
gracious.
There you go. In a month, man. June the 18th.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit.
real
June
quick.
the 18th. Bayhorse Inn. That's another great family. Johnson's. The Bayhorse Inn. They host it. I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday of the middle of the week. And my brother and I are hosting, and we've been writing jokes. We've got a lot of off-limit jokes, but we've got a lot of nice little waka waka wakas, and I hope you guys will come, and I hope you guys will there's sponsors opportunities, Reese Restoration is sponsoring the whole thing. People like More Lawn Care sponsoring this. It's just a great community that way, and I hope you guys can all get the trivia team together, but the most important thing is you might hear the story about JB getting his penis almost cut off.
Woods in.
Yeah, I know.
Woods signing up right now.
That's our OnlyFans.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back before then. I'm afraid to bring JB in with you because I'm not sure this is going to go.
Yeah.
But
he's big-hearted. He is big-hearted. I swear. That kid is got a huge heart. I mean, he's the one that found my dad. 18 years old. He actually sat in the room for like half an hour. Thought my dad was asleep on the couch. But when he wasn't snoring, no, that's it was really surreal. And I mean,
Yeah, dude.
that changed JB's life.
Oh, dude. I will say.
But he gave the eulogy, man.
But here's the thing, like, dude, I was laying on a couch, and I thought it was my time, and all I could see was my 13-year-old.
That's
right.
That's
it was
exactly.
Kellen. Like I can't imagine, and I know
that was when I teared up. Yeah,
and I know what it did to him. Actually, I don't really know. I know it changed him.
Oh,
and so I can't imagine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like JB and your dad was in your lives, and like I mean,
well, you have like we talked a little bit about it with Coach Robinson and all that. You know, you have a different relationship with older people and mentors in your life as you get older. Like they get to be more of a peer.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Kellen saw his dad be human that day. You know, it was like that was the like, man, you know, you were always 10-foot tall, bulletproof, just the same as you were always dumb.
Yeah.
When they were teenagers, you know. But eventually, he's like, man, my dad, he was he was a real-hearted guy, and I think that about you. I think that about you. I think that about my brother.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice, genuine. I love genuine empaths because that cancels me out, you know.
Well, like we said, Jeff, we'll definitely have to have you back here.
Thank you. I do hope you guys know I'm joking around.
Oh,
I
100%.
only tease my friends.
Dude,
to the 7 or 8 of you that are out there, I hope you know that I'm only teasing. I really am a good-hearted guy, and I love this town. I love everybody here.
We might have gotten up to 6 listeners, but now we're probably down to 3.
Right back. Yeah.
So we're back to where we started.
Thanks,
Pax.
Well,
Thanks,
For some crazy reason, I put this as explicit on the. I really think it might increase our listeners to 11 or 12. Though. That's the reality.
One of the 7 words you can't say on podcast. No, guys, that's really cool what you're doing. You know that I'm behind you, and I just think it's this great town, and you guys are proudly shining that to everybody.
We just want to try to highlight,
yeah.
And no matter where you're at in the county or in the township,
and
or
when
where
in doubt,
you
moms and dads out there, when in doubt, don't forget to tell your coach thanks. I mean, you know what? If anything, he's babysitting your kid for a couple hours. And you know what? You may not see eye to eye. People ask me when I do coach or don't coach, they'll say, you don't coach baseball or whatever? I go, no, I second guess the coach. That's what I do. Like I wouldn't stoop to that level of coaching. I'm the coach after the play happens. Ooh, I wouldn't have sent him there.
Yeah.
Is that who you would have started? I wouldn't have started him.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't going to throw strikes today.
On that note, we'll have to bring you into one of our
that's good.
Our wannabe Manning casts here.
We got a call in. It's got Pax from Margarettsville here. Go ahead, Pax. You're on the air. Hey man, I'll just call it. This is the Trojans Beat. For her pleasure. Trojans.
Manning cast with
Trojans
with
Beat, and then of course I'm showing up to this podcast. You know, like have you ever sat at a party naked, Rob, and played video games? Have you?
Only with you.
Oh well, I don't know.
On this.
Sorry for partying. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. I'll let you guys wrap up. See you.
Our thanks to Strange Brew and More Lawn Care for making this podcast possible. I hope everyone has enjoyed this podcast today. I'm Chris Wood. What you're doing out there, have fun with it and enjoy it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.